let's get into it.
And get the conversation started.
Welcome to Inspired Men Talk.
Podcast where we sit down with real people and talk about their journey.
The stuff they've been through, the bits that shaped them.
And the moments where things started to change.
We talk about men's mental health.
But in a way that actually sounds like real life.
Some of it's serious.
And some of it is a little bit lighter.
But it's always honest and brave.
Because most of this stuff doesn't get talked about enough.
And if there's one thing we've seen time and time again,
is that there's always a way back.
So I'm Gary.
And I'm Peter.
And this is Inspired Men Talk.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Inspired Men Talk. And today we have an amazing guest called John Hirniak. But before we get to John, I'd like to say hello to one of our stalwarts. It's Gary Johannes. Gary, hello.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Inspired Men Talk. It's always good to be here.
Thank you very much, Gary. And Gary is a solution-focused hypnotherapist and the founder of Inspired to Change. And actually the driving force behind Inspired Men Talk as well. And I'm Peter Ely, also a solution-focused hypnotherapist based in North London. So we're going to go over and say hello to John. John, hello.
Hello, and thanks for inviting me today and sharing some of my story and hopefully some insights. Thank you.
Brilliant. And John, we'll start, if you don't mind, with you actually telling us a little bit about that story then. So if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what we've got you here doing.
What a little bit about myself. Me, I'm 62 now. Married to Leslie for the last 23 years. Got a daughter who's 20 and another daughter that's 16. My background, come from a pretty poor background, didn't have a lot of money, relatively successful and built up a nice life. Ended up working at Perkins Engines as apprentice. Got into sort of engineering, worked in finance there, went back in research and development. But I always had this itch to have my own business. So I had sunbed businesses on the side, market stalls, all kinds of little deals on the side. And eventually about 27 years ago, I left and became a full-time used car dealer in forecourt. So for the last 27 years of doing that, and I've just about closed it down now. So that's closed down now. And I'm full-time on being a transitional coach and a therapist. That's what I do now.
Amazing. So we're going to dig a little bit into your journey, if you don't mind, because it sounds all kind of plain sailing, but I imagine it wasn't, because they never are, right? So tell us a little bit then, kind of, I guess, from pre-market stall, what got you into the market stall side, and then how did you go from there?
I've always wanted my own business, and where that comes from, I'm not really sure. So I'd always been wheeling and dealing, as they say, all through my life. And then through default, we ended up car dealing. We were trade dealing in cars. And back in the day, really good money in it. It seemed quite easy because I come from a mechanical background as well. And my dad worked on an awful lot of cars and dealt with cars as well. It kind of felt quite easy. And we built that up and up and up until eventually I took the plunge. Redundancy was offered at Perkins. I took the redundancy, left, opened up the forecourt full time, and it went from there. Got married, had the children, moved house. Yeah, it was all great. It was all great until it wasn't.
So, that sounds still quite nice, flowy. I've done this and I've done that. But if you go back to like leaving school, getting that apprenticeship, and why you then still wheeled and dealed, you had a great job for life, as what I often say in Perkins, in Peterborough terms, that's one of the biggest employers there's ever been. So why were you messing around?
Well,
On the side.
I mean, you're right. When I first started at Peg, I think there was 10,000 workers there, and I've still got friends who still work there. They're managers now, and I could have stayed there and ended up being in management and worked through the ranks. But I think there's certain people out there who've got this itch to, I'm not sure what it is, prove yourself, do a bit more. Maybe it's a little bit not enjoying being told what to do. I kind of hated being told when I had to be there, when I had to go. And you got this, got to be there at 8 o'clock, finish at 4 o'clock, 5 weeks holiday a year. Yeah, wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. The good parts of it, yeah, great pension, work for life, good people, great lads you're working with, great canteen, great healthcare. I mean, there's an awful lot of positives to working at Perkins, and I'll be forever grateful for the opportunity they gave me from leaving school. Brilliant, absolutely set me
Yeah,
up for
yeah.
life. But if you've got that bee in your bonnet to have that business, that's what you've got. And then I started, want of a better word, dicking about at work, starting to become a pain in the arse because I didn't really want to be there. And
Yeah.
when I look back, slightly embarrassing that really what I should have done is left a few years earlier, but you haven't quite got the balls to do that. So you start doing less and less at work and doing more and more on the side.
So what
Yes.
sort of things were you doing on the side?
Well, we had the sunbed company on the side. That's one of the things we did. We had market stalls at weekends. Then we went over to the car dealing. So we were selling cars at the weekend and trade dealing them. So buying them and selling them to other dealers, or buying them and taking them straight to auction. So we didn't have a premises as such, but we were car dealing and earning good money. And obviously the more that money came in, the more you didn't want to work at Perkins. The more you started to piss around and like, yeah, I don't really need the job anyway, do I?
Yeah.
And then it come to the point where there's a famous Italian saying that says, you can't live in two paradises. Are you that or are you this? You're sort of messing about between the two. You're not Arthur and you're not Martha. You're neither one or the other. And it came to a point, I met my wife. My wife had her own business salon and that. She was doing really well. And she said, I can't believe you're staying there. And the wages had come down at Perkins, that the wages weren't great now, that they hadn't really kept up with inflation in the world.
Okay.
And I felt that, not me so much, but some of the guys I worked with were really, really clever. And even I thought they're not really getting paid for what they're worth. The obvious option you got, if you don't think you're getting paid what you're worth, leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you think you're worth. So that's what I thought. And with a little bit of backup from my wife, she encouraged me. She said, look, you can come and work for me if you really have to, which you won't. So I took the redundancy and started full-time car dealing, for want of a better word, with a forecourt.
Amazing.
That was it. So yeah, we had a great life because it, once we'd had the children, it gave me the freedom to walk them to school, to pop out at 2:00 to watch them playing the trumpet or the clarinet or whatever they're learning. It just gave you that real flexibility, which I love. I still do. Being able to do within reason what you want when you want. It was great. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that. It's a beautiful sunny day today, and we're recording. And I
Yeah.
did not go to work until 10:00. So it was like I was up, I was sitting out and just sitting in the sun.
Yeah.
And you're right, if you've got a 9 to 5, you don't get that freedom. So it is a lovely thing to do. It is a big old kind of challenge though, and it's a big step to take.
Without doubt, it's not for everyone, and people still say it to me now. It's not for everyone. It's a certain mindset that goes in. You've got to be comfortable with challenge. You've got to be comfortable with uncertainty, because there's not a wage every week. There might not be any money this month. You've got to be comfortable with that uncertainty, and that definitely is not for everyone. So yeah, but
I just want to clear something up because John mentioned when he was, dicking about at work and that, but he'd done stuff on the side and he had sunbed shops. I just want to confirm that this lovely tan you've got isn't Tom. You're sitting on the leftover sunbed.
The truth is, I do go on the odd sunbed in the winter just to cheer myself up and give me a little bit of colour. But no, I do tan really, really easy. And this mad heat wave.
So it's all natural.
I've actually hid from the sun for 2 days and I've still got it because I've walked the dog in the morning, walked the dog at night. I'm getting browner and browner. And people keep saying, "Have you been away?" No. I've been hiding, yeah, but no. So
just to confirm, it's all natural.
It's all natural. I've definitely got white bits, that's for sure.
Yeah, you won't be surprised. I'm all natural as well. Yeah, this pale pasty white. That's all natural. Amazing,
brilliant.
And so, talking about the fact then, John, that sometimes you do get a wage and sometimes you don't get a wage, that can actually play a bit on your mental health. Were there any times when you've gone through that stage where it's played on you and you've had to kind of work through it?
Not in the early days, because in my opinion, the big change is children. Once you've got children, you're responsible. You can't just get up and leave. You can't. Well, you can, but it's a lot more challenging.
Yeah.
They need feeding. They need educating. They need showing the way. You need to be an inspiration to them. Certainly there's an awful lot more pressure once you've got children. They need to be fed. Let's look. If me and Les didn't have any money, let's sell the house, let's move to Spain and we'll live on the beach. It's all right.
Yeah.
But once you've got children, that's a
So,
complete different ballgame.
some,
And I felt or found the pressure of not just providing for them, but educating them, caring for them, inspiring them. I take that ever so seriously. And it does, or it can do, weigh quite heavy.
I was going to say, there's some people, I know many people, who find that responsibility quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's not, they don't want to. I mean, we know there's rogue parents and whatever, but even with the best will in the world, that's a lot for some people. They go in there with the best intentions, but that's a lot for some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never found that a lot. You found it.
I've
It's
said this. I
important.
mean, I've got a dog, and people go, "Oh, he's a lovely dog, isn't he?" Yeah, but he's been trained. We walk him every morning for 45 minutes. We walk him every night for another at least half hour. He gets took to the vet. He gets groomed. He gets fed, or should I say, good food. He's a great dog. Now, it's a lot of work, but you could have a dog, couldn't you, and tie it to a breeze box and just leave it in the garden. Then it's easy, isn't it? But if you're doing the things to make sure your children are in a great place, it does take a little bit of effort. It does take work. I used to go to the school to their reading classes to help them learn to read. Lots of parents didn't, for whatever reason. Some of them because they're at work, some of them because they just can't be asked. That's the effort, isn't it? That's going out, teaching them to ride the bike, taking them to swimming lessons, teaching them to swim, and everything else we do, just to try and
Gave you
give them
that.
a bit of a head start in life, so they are in a good position to get on in life.
So what gave you that ethic, that understanding of what you wanted to be as a parent? Where did that come from?
Great question, Gary. I'm not sure. I think my dad was a big inspiration in my life. My dad come over from after the war. He was an asylum seeker, prisoner, come out of the prison camps in Rimini, North Italy. Was given asylum here. But he really wanted to get on. He really wanted to succeed. And, even some of my family members, he would pay for them to maybe go to college and learn how to type so they could get a better job. He was really big on education. And he just said, this country is the best country in the world. If you work it right, you can be whoever you want to be. Don't miss that opportunity. So he was a great inspiration to me. And here's another strange one that I remember as a child watching and being fascinated by, the Waltons. I used to watch the Waltons. And if you watch it, there's a little lesson there in every episode. A little bit how
Yeah.
you should live your life, a little bit about integrity. And I still believe that put a big influence on me as well. And I used to love it. I was fascinated by it. And I still do when I hear
In my head now,
the theme tune. It makes me smile,
in my head now, I'm thinking, which one's he? Is he John Boy or is he Sue Ellen or
Dad. No, I'm not sure. Maybe a bit of all of them. Took a little bit of all of them with me. I don't know, I suppose taking responsibility of it. My children depend on me. Everything I say to them and guide them, they're going to take it on and think, is that how we act? Is that how we do it? Is Dad lazy? Oh, Dad doesn't do that. Dad doesn't stay fit. Dad doesn't learn. So I've tried to show them, put the effort in, you'll get the reward. Life will be put a bit of effort in, but you've got to show them, not tell them. That's the hard bit. Show.
It's really true. I was reading a book and a chap was saying how he got his fear of heights from his father, right? Where his father would get up a ladder and start shaking and, would try and avoid getting up the ladders. And it built that fear of getting up on a ladder within him. And it is very true. There's a strong part of the nature nurture debate, right? And I think it's a very valid point about action, because it's very easy for us to kind of sit there and say, oh, well, we can tell them what they should do.
Yeah.
And we can.
Yeah.
But actually, if you don't live it.
No, that's the bit. It's not do what I say, show them. And that's quite hard because, none of us are perfect, especially me. And you're trying to lead by example, and that's quite hard. But children do keep you accountable. They keep you, and I see it all the time. People screaming at their children, not to smoke. yet you're smoking. You know,
Yeah.
don't drink, don't. But you're pissed, Dad, aren't you? You know, it's just, you know, stay fit, but you're not, Dad. You know,
Yeah.
make sure you educate, but you're not, Dad. You know, so I remember we were a big influence on them, and it really. I mean, I knew this anyway, but then I trained to be an RTT therapist, and as Gary knows, we regressed back to, you know, earlier life. What's influenced us? And the one thing I realised is how much everything you say to your children and do can have an impact on them for the rest of their
Yeah.
life. It's frightening.
Yeah.
Frightening.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, ask your children the things that they remember. You probably don't remember it, but they do. And you think,
Yeah. There's.
I didn't realise it had that much impact on you. Yeah, it did that.
I read an article about an archaeologist, and they said to her, they went, "What drove you to become an archaeologist?" And she said, "Well, when I was 3, she said, my dad buried some bones, like dog bones or something, in the garden. And so, like, they just dug up the bones." And she was like, "Oh, yeah, playing around." And her dad was like, "I don't ever remember doing that. I don't ever remember that thing." But that excitement of finding the first few bones made her excited about becoming and following up and doing the archaeology thing. So yeah, it's amazing
Look,
what those small actions
I was asking
do.
the children yesterday, what's your favourite bits of all the holidays we've been on? Favourite experience of all the holidays we've been on? And it's amazing the stuff they come up with, like, real small stuff. It's not the big stuff.
Yeah,
I really love that. I loved when we were in the sea, Dad, at so-and-so. You can hardly remember it. They remember this real quirky little stuff that's long forgotten by me, but they really do
yeah,
remember it. You know, 10, 12 years later, they really remember that moment. Yeah, we were in the sea and we were laughing, and just real small stuff, not even the big stuff, which is quite scary if you think. And one of the bits I'm most embarrassed by, and I really don't remember this, they go, yeah. Both my girls said, "Do you remember, Dad, when you stopped the car on the main roundabout in Peterborough and got out the car to have that argument with that bloke?" And I said, "No, I don't." I said, "Yeah, he cut me up or something had gone on and I'd stopped and he bibbed and this, that and the other. I've stopped the car. I've got out the car. I'm ranting and raving, going berserk." And they're just sitting there terrified and embarrassed. And his
yeah,
Yeah.
mental bit, I don't even remember it.
yeah. That's crazy, isn't it?
And the thought now that I did that, oh yeah, I'm embarrassed. It's just, and I've told them so that it wasn't big, it wasn't clever, and it was a stupid thing to do. And yeah, I weren't maybe in a great place at the time, and that's why I did it. But no,
They do.
it's not how we should act. But yeah, scary.
Yeah. It happens to us all. It happens to us all. It's a natural phenomenon. There's science behind it and we can explain it. And we do explain it, but we won't explain it today. What's been your favourite car to either own or drive, and why?
Oh, yeah, without doubt. I mean, I've got a classic car. I've got a 1953 Buick. I bought it
Wow.
about 9 years ago. I imported it over from America. I was brought up on American air bases as a child, so I've sat in fighter jets and hung around American air bases. Lots of American comics growing up. Loved the American dream. Fascinated by it and that era. So yeah, I bought. She's called Clara. I bought that, and I've not been out in her for 8 months. And I actually went out for a drive in it 2-3 days ago.
Wow.
Nice.
And I suddenly remembered how much joy it gave me. I'm driving along, big cheesy grin on my face, laughing away. And how many people bib, wave, thumbs up, children stopping on the roadside in awe, you know, wide-eyed looking at it, pulled into a petrol station, 3 or 4 people come up to me, "Can I have a picture? Can you tell me about it?" And I kind of forgot that. How much joy it brings to me anyway. So yeah, that's my favourite car to drive, and mine is a 1953 Buick.
It's a beautiful car. I believe you've got a picture of it on your Facebook. Is that right?
Yeah, I
Is
think it's
it?
at the top there. Yeah, but I'm about to change that to something else. But yeah, it's still on the Facebook at the top there.
Yeah, amazing.
Not only me, lots of other people and my children. We used to go to a lot of car shows, music festivals and that, and we'd drive in with a car. So it's given us all a lot of enjoyment. I've done a few, I don't do them normally. A few people have begged me to do the odd prom and a few weddings in it. I don't like doing them because of the pressure of turning up on the day and having to be there. But when I do them, it's just nice to see their joy, and they really enjoy it on the day doing the prom
Yeah,
weddings, and that
amazing.
makes you feel good as well.
I think, considering you've had 27 years selling cars and probably been in more cars than anyone I know,
Yeah.
and you go back to an old beat up old 50-odd-year-old car, 1950 car, what
That's
you like
right.
best.
1953 Buick Super.
It's better than all the other cars.
No power steering, no electric windows, no airbags, no power brakes. And you know, the magic of it is, it's just, it's from yesteryear. It's something that's built
Yeah.
that lasts forever. The quality
Yeah.
and everything, it just lasts forever. When I'm feeling a little bit down, when I'm feeling a little bit that life's against me and shit's happening, I think, how many stories could the car tell?
Yeah,
Dick
Jesus.
Allman, who I bought the car off, he's passed away now. He would have gone through it as well. He had children. He was married. He'd gone through the same shit as well. Same, the family who had it before them, the Prouty family. Her name was Clara, actually. They would have gone through the same stuff
Yeah.
and survived and got through it. You're not the only one who's struggling with the mortgage, with the children, with your health, with parents passing away, and all of the shit that comes our way in life. We all
Yeah.
go through it, and 99% of the people survive it. So it makes me sort of think, yeah, what would Dick Oldman say? If he was sat here, what would he say? Probably laugh at me and think it's all going to be fine. It's all going to be good.
So that, I mean, that's a really amazing point, actually. That car, if it had ears and it could tell what it's heard,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, wow, it's seen and
Yeah.
heard a lot of things. But one of the things, you know, we spoke about you coming on the call before, is this is Inspired Men Talk, and it's about people who have been there, done that, really found it difficult, and then got back up and worked out through it. So we can show other people that
Yeah.
everything's a chapter, we can move through it. So you've talked about what the car's seen. What have you seen
Well,
in your story?
well,
Because everything sounds lovely.
we've gone through my life and what's gone, and it's all great, and I'm extremely grateful for my life and what's happened to me, the good and the bad. But it got to one point, where I think it was the recession of about 15 years ago. Would it be 15? Yeah, about 15 years ago. And it suddenly all started going wrong. When I look back now, almost like a perfect storm. Obviously, we've got the recession. My wife's salon was flooded. So we've got 2 foot of sewage there wading through it. It's insured, but as the business closed down and takes a lot of effort. We've got the second child on the way, which, as people who've got children, one child's part-time parenting. Once you have 2, it's full on, and that takes a lot of pressure. We'd just moved to a new house. There was a lot of faults with it. We were taking the builders to court, so we're in a court battle with them. We've got a flooded salon. We got a new baby in the house. In the office next door to my car yard, my father-in-law had his business there, and my brother-in-law worked it, and he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. So along with the family, but I was there on a daily basis with him. I'm sort of mentoring him through that, which is quite difficult for me and the whole family. Yeah, lots going on. And just when I needed to focus on my business, we got Tim, we got flooded salon, a new baby, Charles Church Court, the whole lot. And slowly my money was dwindling until I was down to a £20,000 overdraft, no money, and I'm fucked. It's all over. I just could not see how I'm going to pull this around. Yeah, quite scary. And then you soon get into that dark space where you're overthinking, you're overwhelmed. Every move you make, you're overthinking because you're scared of making a mistake. Now, when you've got a bit of money behind you, you can afford to make a mistake. It's not the end of the world. But when every penny counts now, you're overthinking. The anxiety's gone through the roof. You're not sleeping. You're waking up at 3 a.m, covered in sweat, can't breathe. I didn't quite have a panic attack, but it almost felt right at that brink where I'm struggling to breathe. Sweat's pouring out of me. I'm getting up. And then I switched to having a few drinks. I'd get up at 3 a.m, have a couple of drinks, calm my nerves, which ain't a great thing. Then that becomes a habit. So it was a great place to be in.
Yeah. I thank you for sharing. First of all, thank you for sharing. That does sound like the perfect storm.